Well, just for first off, credit Bonnie and the University of Michigan and their team. That was a grind. We knew it was going to be tough. They're well coached. Michigan's got a tradition of excellence that I have a lot of respect for. So I knew this was going to be a grind. And their pitcher Warren Gajewski was really dang good. I thought she was just special to compete against. She had to grind this whole week. It was cool to see. The story of the weekend is Lexi over here, and just the way she carried this team. She's been waiting for this moment, whether she knows it or not, and it's really cool to see kids just be able to answer and just be so under control and be so normal and be so caring and caring about the program, her teammates, the Cowgirl way. It's just really neat. So and then it's obviously incredible for Karli to be able to be here in this room. Had the big home run here today that kind of gave us some breathing room, but obviously been great the whole year. So just an incredible team win, 5 straight supers. Not easy, to do in this day and age with the parity that we have. And I think there was a lot of people across the country, maybe even in this room, that didn't think we could make this happen, and it's really kind of cool. And I'm not upset with that at all. I get it. I just it's tough. We've been through a lot, and it's just special to be sitting up here representing our whole team with these guys.
How do you keep both your staff and the players from realizing it still is hard to be one of the last 16 teams, but also appreciating that the season you've had and you are one of the last 16 teams, not taking it for granted?
I think we talk about this type of stuff a lot, celebrating the moments. This doesn't get old. It feels a little harder, to be honest. I mean, I'll just be very honest with that. But we talk about these guys, this is a lot, like, just stay together, just do what we do, just think about the Cowgirl way, and everything will work out the way it should. And I think when you just come to grips with all that, you can be in the best place. And we've had a history here of playing our best softball at the very end. And we've had some crazy runs where we played incredible going in. Last year we were incredibly awful going in. And we've just found ways to be able to play our best. That starts with great pitching. It starts with really good, my staff. It starts with those guys, getting these guys prepped and ready to go. And then, like we talk about, just staying normal. I mean, just they are huge games. Can't run from that. But the team that's the most normal is the team that's going to win a lot. And so that's kind of what we just talk about. And just kind of that's why we practice the same way. We don't get more excited for bigger games. Maybe they do, but from my coaching staff, we try to keep it a very even keel.
2 things. One, what were your thoughts going in on who would be in the circle? Was it a no-doubter? And the second thing is, that first inning, she kind of had to grind through, got the out with bases loaded. Did that kind of, you think, set the tone? And I want to get her opinion, but yours too on that.
I talked to Carrie before each night. I was at home last night, and Carrie texted me and said, "Hey, do you want to talk?" And I said, "Yeah." So I asked my family, we want to start taking friendly wagers on who Carrie's going to want to pitch. I thought it would be Lexi, and the main reason I was right on this, because we hadn't faced Michigan yet. And so since it was a new set of hitters, it made sense. And so when Carrie called me, that's exactly what she wanted. There was no doubt because of that. So, and then the first inning was a lot like yesterday. Just a test. It's like a mental, emotional test. It's what the game does. It keeps you grounded. Whenever you think everything's just cruising along, you think you got the best pitcher in the country over here, and you think you're just gonna roll out there and go, the game tests you. And we got through it. We weathered the storm. And it was cool to see. And I knew once we got through that, felt good.
Yeah, obviously both first innings today and yesterday were not my greatest, but like looking back at them, I feel like they didn't really beat me. It was just kind of dinky little hits that like were just very unlucky. And so I think that's like Carrie does a great job of like telling me like, hey, like keep doing your thing. Like that's just really unlucky. Just keep punching away at the zone. And honestly, I think it gets a little timid in those like bases loaded moments, but it's even more rewarding getting out of those. And I think it gives good energy to the rest of the team.
Lexi, when did you find out you were getting the ball today, and what was your reaction?
I think last night Carrie and I kind of talked how I was feeling, and I felt pretty good. And obviously, I was really excited. I think mentally going into this weekend, I was ready to go at any moment. So I was ready to go win the game.
How do you feel right now?
Definitely a little tired. I will say I'm very hungry. I can't wait to eat after this. But I mean, obviously, just tired, but nothing's aching. Just need some ice and I'll be good.
What's the go-to meal after a win like this?
Always a steak, some kind of mac and cheese, and then like broccoli or a salad. Always a steak though.
Karli, did you feel due for one, and kind of what did it feel like getting a hold of that thing, because it went a long ways?
Yeah, I did, but it felt good. I think Jill has been a big part of this weekend, and before I went in the box or on deck, she came up to me and she was like, listen, we don't need you to be a hero, we just need you to be Karli Godwin. And then I think that kind of just took the pressure off my shoulders, and Coach G talked to me a few innings before and was like, hey, just calm down, you are like meant to be here, you're really good. Sometimes you just get worked up and you just need to take a deep breath. And I think both of those things just allowed me to be like, hey, it's just a game, we're in this, my team's got me regardless.
What was this weekend in general like for you? Obviously the first time you're doing this type of stuff.
Oh, it was great. It lived up to everything I ever expected, and like I said, I knew we were going to do well and push through, and like I said, it's what you dream of, coming here and making it to the World Series and Super Regionals. So
Where was the pitch? She kind of was in here earlier and made it sound like it may have been one of her pitches up in the zone.
yeah, it was not too up. It was inside, in her half.
Karli, I haven't seen all 14 of your home runs this season, but is that the hardest one you've hit?
It might be. Yeah, I will say I got hold of that one.
Karli, you talked about Jill kind of giving you that talk. Did you feel like you needed that? You needed kind of somebody to just kind of remind you to just maybe be you and not put so much on it?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, for the most part, I'm pretty confident in what I do, but sometimes when things just don't go right, sometimes you do need that little push. So I'd say, yeah, it was really good.
And you talked about the at-bats from Lexi the other day, and she was able to hit that home run. What was that like for you, being able to see that pay off for her?
It's really cool. She's really grown from last year. When I saw her in high school, she was a kid that I wanted here, tough, could get the barrel to the ball. Doesn't really flash a lot of power, even though it's in there. It's coming. It will come at some point. But I heard her say something to somebody, and I can't recall who it was. They were just kind of talking to her and said, what's the difference from this year to last year? She goes, I finally just got over the hump of trying to prove that I belonged here. I belong here, and I'm good enough. And I thought that was a very mature comment, because she does. She belongs here. She wouldn't be here if she didn't. And it's hard. This stage is big, and the expectations are big. And so for an Oklahoma kid from Silo, like, this is just another step for her. She's got to get over that hump, and she's done that. And I'll tell you what, if we can keep her in the 8-hole and have those type of at-bats in the 8-hole, it's crazy. And it's just really cool to see. And I think her watching like Karli and Rose, come in here and, just be able to get things done is a real blessing for some of our local in-state kids too. Just, hey, we want to do this for all of you, and it's really neat. So I think that's kind of what we've got amongst our program that's really neat.
Kenny, you know the definition in baseball: 4-star or 4-tool, 5-tool player. What is Julian? Because as good as she is power-wise, her speed is what's so dangerous. I mean,
Yeah, I think she's probably a 4 plus, because I think actually she probably in her younger days was probably a little faster. She plays fast, but I wouldn't call her like a burner like a Tia or Taylor on our team. But she can flash, like in-game speed is really good, but like 40 time would not like just blow you away. So we've had a couple of those kids that just play fast. So that's why I think she gets the 4 plus. If you're I would think that there would be, like in baseball terms, there would be certain pro teams that would call her a 5 or they would give her the higher rating because she would be a kid that could do so many things that they may rate some of the IQ stuff a little higher and give her the 5-star. But I'd probably be a 4 plus, which is no shame. That's very few of those around.
Yeah.
But it's special. When I was coming off the field, she was one of the last ones, which is normal. To be in the dugout, and I just looked at her, and she was just sitting there, just like staring and smiling. And I didn't even say anything. I just walked off. I was like, I don't want to ruin this moment, because it was really cool. So she's just a cool kid. I think these guys. I was just looking at her stats just last night. She has 50 less at bats or more than Karli, Caroline. She's hit 11 home runs. She's drove in 30 something runs. You give her another 50 at bats, because I'm the idiot for not having those 50 more at bats. But you just look at that and what she's capable of. It's just it's her story and it's her journey. And it's really cool, and I'm just glad that we're all a part of that.
Kenny, I wanted to ask about Carrie's in-game management. It seems like she did a really good job timing out her visits for Lexi. I mean, you guys didn't walk any batters. It seemed like she was pretty on top of when she needed to go out there. How have you seen her figure out that throughout this first season as a coaching coach?
My best coaching job here today was for Carrie, to be honest. She was this morning when I got here, I was just like, she walked in and I could feel a little cranky, and I was like, oh jeez. So I talked to her and she goes, I'll be honest, I'm nervous. And I said, good. I said, are you prepared? She goes, yeah. I said, it's out of your hands. It's gonna be in Lexi's hands. It's gonna be in Caroline's hands. That's all you can do. First inning, I could feel she was hot, and I just put my hand on her. I said, chill out. It's okay. We're fine. Like, we're gonna weather this. Like, we have the best pitcher in the country. She's fine. They haven't hit a ball hard yet. She goes, I know. I'm just like, calm down. And once we got out of that, it was cool. I mean, she's been incredible. It's the first moment I've seen all year where she was a little bit like vulnerable, which was kind of neat. And I've just enjoyed. It took me back to coaching her, to be honest. And I've been through that with Vanessa as well. And Vanessa's really turned the corner where she's just very level. And Carrie, it's the first time I saw her where she was just a little bit on edge. And I said, hey, just take a peek out there. Like, it's pretty cool. And she settled in, and her pitch calling has been on point. Like, it has been as good as I've seen.
To follow up on that bigger picture with those two assistant coaches, because obviously this is, to be in that role for the first time, there's going to be some nerves. I want to get your thoughts on that, and also the players with the two that you work directly with. Obviously, should be for you and Carrie.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I'm like a proud dad in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like with those guys, because I've been through a lot with those guys, and a lot of hard stuff, a lot of good stuff, a lot of winning, and the farther that you go and the larger the expectations, it can wear on you at times. And I just want to remind them, I learned this from Bob Stoops a long time ago. The guy was a master at like not letting the moment slip away. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy what's going on out there. And there's only, you can control a little bit, but really you can't. Like, it's in these kids' hands. And if you prepared them and they trust you and they love you, you're gonna get their very best. So I'm enjoying working with Carrie and Vanessa. I'm very proud of them. I sent them both a long text last night. Just told them I was just really proud of them, and just that have fun and enjoy the moment. No matter what, it's going to be hard. So just enjoy it.
Karli, don't take it personal. I'm going to ask Lexi this because you're young. Do you see all that? I mean, are you old enough to see? Oh yeah, Carrie's hypertensive, today, and the coaches are all kind of, freaking a little bit. Do you see that?
Honestly, no. Hearing Coach G say that kind of threw me for a loop because Carrie was the one that kind of came in the dugout and calmed me down. So it's good how it can kind of just trickle down and slowly everyone is like calm and just doing their job. But I think all of us get along with Carrie very well, and honestly, I think having that small age gap, we could connect to them a whole lot easier, and it's easier to build a relationship with them because they've been in our shoes right there with us. So I think having that close age, I don't think is a bad thing at all. I think it's honestly more of a positive.
Kenny, I just wanted to ask you, what was your initial reaction to Karli's home run? I saw when she came around third, you kind of like put your hands up before you gave her the high five.
I'm just happy for this kid cares. She thinks she should hit 50 home runs. That's how she thinks. I'm probably pretty sure of that. And when I think when the season, when it finally does end, she'll look back and go, okay, this is how I'm going to adjust. And that will be her work from that day that she makes it home to her dad in the barn. That will happen. And I'm it's just an amazing growth, and it's why you coach. It's when that next journey starts, I don't want it to start anytime soon, but when it starts, I can't wait to see what that looks like. But sometimes she's the hardest person on herself. It's just if she doesn't hit every ball on the screws 300 feet, it's what the hell? And this is hard, and she knows it. Deep inside, she knows it. But she wants to pick her team up every single time. She thinks she's going to do it every single time. Her BP today was awful. I heard it was maybe the worst it's ever been. And after her first at bat, I agreed. It looked awful. And then I said I need to talk to her. So I know how I can talk to her. And there's sometimes when I can jump on her and get on her and she'll be fine. And there's other times where I just needed to put my arm around her, and today I felt like it was that time. And she kind of told you guys, I just told her, hey, look, you're incredible, but you can't be incredible when you're going this fast. You cannot do the things that you've been born to do. You've been bred to do. You cannot do these things going so fast and your movements being so big. You've got to slow everything down and then let your God-given gift, which is the electric hands, the electric strength, take over. And I just threw my hands up because I was see how easy it is? And I know it's not easy. But I just wanted her to laugh. And I give her a hard time because every time she runs around third, she just mad dogs me. She mean mugs me. I'm why do you have to look so pissed off all the time? And she smiled today, and I was that was awesome. So that's what I'll remember for a long time as we go through a lot of those at-bats and a lot of these moments over the next years. And this year, those are things that I'll be able to take to my grave. Those are things that are awesome.
Karli, did you feel that way about? Sorry, Karli, did you feel that way about your BP today? And was that kind of weighing on you a little bit, maybe early on?
Yes, for sure. Sometimes you would think it'd be easy just to mimic your same good swing every time, and it's just not. And today it was really rough, and I think Shippy asked me about 5 times if I was okay, and I was like, if you want to know the truth, no, but I will be. And so yeah, I figured it out hopefully, and just keep working through it, and I'll be fine.
Karli, I want to go back to talking about Shippy, like I was asking earlier, because obviously you came here. It was a coaching change in the middle of your year. Was it what was the process like? Well, actually, what was it like getting to know Shippy, and what has your experience with her been like?
Yeah, I think working with Shippy has been one of the best things for me as a hitter, and I think we relate so well because we're both so competitive, and perfectionists to a certain degree, and sometimes that causes us to butt heads, but I think in the end we always find a solution to any problem, and I think she deserves credit on that. And if you have a problem and you come to her about it, she's gonna stay there until you get it fixed. And I went to her for a lot of things throughout the season, and there's never been a moment where I didn't feel that she had my back or she was gonna help me through it. And like you said, I think every one of us trusts her so much, and we love her. And sometimes during practice we have to run for not winning or at bat or whatever, and she will sit there and run with us. And I think that's what makes us love her and put our trust in her so much.
Last couple questions.
Lexi, how have you managed the expectations? And you got the awards, the weekly awards, the season awards. Michigan's coach called you an All-American, and how have you kind of dealt with those pressures and those expectations on a day-to-day basis?
Honestly, I try not to look at those too hard, because I'm an overthinker, and once it gets to my head, it's not good for me. So I try not to make it more than what it is. I mean, it's honestly so amazing to be called all these things, but at the end of the day, it's a title, and at the end of the day, it doesn't show who I am. And so it's obviously an honor to be named all those things, but if I accept it and move on, I think it doesn't get to my head too much.
Lexi, for this being your last postseason, is this feeling that you have with your team, is this what you had hoped to find when you decided to come here?
Definitely, yeah. I think every girl wants to make it to postseason, and this is exactly what I came here to do. And just, we've had so much fun in the locker room, in Broken Bow. Just the whole journey has been so amazing, and that's what I absolutely love about this place is the fun is always first, and that's at the end of the day what I need a softball to be, and that's what it's become. So it's everything I've ever dreamed of.
Is that the fun being first? Is that something that you think comes from the coaching staff or the teammates, or what kind of sets that up?
I think a little bit of everything. Obviously, the girls have a lot to do with it because we're the ones that are playing the ball, but the coaches obviously set the tone. And Coach G tells us every day, he's like, play like you're playing in your backyard. And honestly, I think about that every day because me and my brothers would play wiffle ball in our front yard every single day, and that's just what this program is. It's about having fun, and honestly, if you're having fun, you're gonna win.
Kenny, how much does it mean to you to hear those things from your players talking about how it's stuff they've always dreamed of in your program?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I want these guys to. I want to win, and they want to win, and that's how we've recruited. But there is nothing better than watching these kids act like their 8-year-old self, and that's what we talk about. Like Lexi said, just play like you're 8 in your backyard, and just enjoy. Like when you were there, you were never worried about risk. You were never worried about something going bad. You just said, "I'm gonna make it happen. Watch this. I'm gonna prove to you, and I'm gonna do this." And that's what's so cool to be able to hear them say those things. Is like they're paying attention to what we're saying, and they're paying attention, but they bought in, to that. And it's all I could have ever hoped for when I signed up to come here, and got the opportunity to come here, was just to be able to have this rich tradition here, and then to do it a little bit of a different way. I'm sure there's people who rather think we have too much fun. I don't really care. We're gonna do it our way, and we're gonna do it the way we think it should be done. And it's cool to hear that. It makes me feel very good. It validates why we do things. And Lexi, you guys maybe know some of her story, but you don't know all of her story. She was at a low place with softball. So to see her smile like this, and to be able to talk to her parents and go through that with them, is just it's why we do what we do here. And it's cool to see these kids. 2 years ago, pro ball was not in her future. She probably wanted to get out of it as fast as she could. Now she's trying to hold on as long as she can. And I think that's maybe tells the whole story.
That feels like a